One of the more eerie yet well-documented phenomena within the human experience involves countless people, usually young children, recalling remarkably specific details about past lives, many of which have later been verified by investigators. I mean, there's so many stories across so many countries and time periods where young children remember and have knowledge of things that frankly they shouldn't know. So today we're going to look at just one of the countless accounts of young children recalling what they claim to be a past life. A young boy named James Leininger, who at age 2 began to have what many people believe were past life memories. When James was only 18 years old, his family visited this war museum. Young James became unusually fixated on World War II planes, even correcting his mom on some airplane terminology while they were in the museum gift shop, which was odd for an 18-month-year-old to do, right? Shortly after turning 2, James began having nightmares, as often as 5 times a week, in which he would wake up screaming, airplane crash, or plane on fire, or little man can't get out. So James Leininger, this young boy who had no previous exposure to World War II history, started claiming he was a fighter pilot named James Houston Jr., who was shot down by the Japanese on a volcanic island south of Japan called Iwo Jima. So his name was James Leininger in his current life and James Houston Jr. in his past life. Same first name, which is also a little eerie. So young James was also able to name the plane he flew on, called the Corsair. Young James said he flew the plane off of a ship called Natoma, which he insisted was an American ship, even though the name kind of sounded Japanese. He even mentioned a fellow pilot named Jack Larson. James's parents were devout Christians who were kind of uncomfortable with the idea of reincarnation, so they really set out to disprove these claims. James's dad was the one who really started digging into these records. So what did James's dad find? Turns out Natoma Bay was a real World War II aircraft carrier, and the pilot, Jack Larson, was still alive. The deceased pilot, James Houston Jr., the man that the toddler James believed he had been in a past life, was shot down exactly as young James described it. At 2 years old, James knew the details that no toddler should know. Even his drawings showed accurate World War II battle scenes, burning planes, explosions, propeller-driven aircraft, all labeled correctly. Young James didn't just remember his life as James, the World War II pilot, but he also remembered details of his personal and family life. In order to verify the personal and family life details, James's parents needed to speak to a family member of the World War II pilot. Turns out, the World War II pilot James had a sister who was still alive named Anne. Young James's parents reached out to Anne, who was able to confirm these private family details. These are things that only her brother would have known. These were deeply personal stories, memories, moments only James Houston Jr. would have experienced, yet this boy remembered these details. Anne was initially skeptical of these claims, but became a firm believer after young James knew intimate family details that no outsider could have known. And this is just one of the countless reincarnation stories. This is just one of them. I am someone who personally believes in reincarnation. I think that we just keep coming back here. I mean, if we agree to it. You just get a different avatar and different experiences each time you incarnate. Some believers in reincarnation believe how you were in one life will have an impact on what will happen in the next reincarnated life. Some reincarnation believers feel that the souls choose what experiences they want to have. Others believe souls can choose whether to incarnate or remain in the spiritual realm or ascend to a new dimension. I'm not going to go into all of that today. Rather, I will be exploring a perspective on why the topic of reincarnation might hold significance for us Earthlings as we navigate the lessons of Earth School. So I have piss some people off before telling them that I think that we keep coming back here, that I believe in reincarnation. I have had people look at me dead in the eye and say, I am not coming back here. Or I have been met with a look of distress or horror after mentioning reincarnation. Earth school is hard. It's really hard. The thought of having to do this over and over again can be upsetting to people. I don't like to speak in certainty, but here are my beliefs, which I like to explain in metaphors. I think this dimension or plane of existence is a type of school. That's the word that I like to use as the best metaphor. Earth is a type of school, a school for soul development. And there are so many words for the word soul. If you don't like that word, then use another word. I mean, there's psyche, there's consciousness, there's anima, life force, essence. I mean, there's so many words for that word. Even science has proven that there is some sort of non-physical essence about us. The question is, does that non-physical essence live on after the physical body dies? If so, then what happens to that non-physical essence? Throughout the fabric of time, humanity has asked these questions and have embarked on all sorts of various practices, preparations, and rituals to prepare ourselves for what might come next. This is a huge focal point of the human experience throughout all time periods, throughout all cultures and civilizations. Even atheists are thinking about what happens when we die. I mean, even if they think it's nothing. I mean, everybody's talking about it. So hear me out. What if Earth is a type of school that allows us to incarnate into the physical realm in order to learn and grow on a soul level? And the lessons we are supposed to learn here will repeat over and over again, whether that's in this life or the next. So the lessons will repeat over and over, not as a punishment, but because we deeply want to grow on a soul level. Maybe we choose to come here to experience and learn these lessons so we can advance to higher levels. And what a better way to do this than incarnating into a physical earth suit? Think about it. Growing on a soul level would be tough to do with just a light body, right? It is much harder to have certain experiences in a spirit light or energy form. In this physical reality, we can know what physical pain feels like because we have a body that can experience physical pain. It's not just pain or discomfort we can experience with our body, but we can also experience pleasure, like having a really good massage or having a hot bath after a long day in the cold. If one was in light form, would we be able to hug, kiss, hold hands? What about temperature? Would you be able to experience the heat from the summer sun or the coldness of being hit by a snowball? Physical touch also creates a type of physical intimacy that one might not be able to experience without a physical avatar. But it goes much deeper than all of that. Let's look at it from a purely scientific perspective. A lot of the current general scientific perspective says that emotions are deeply tied to bodily responses. That makes sense, right? Emotions involve a lot of chemical reactions. Think cortisol, think dopamine, things like that. Emotions involve a lot of neural activity. So various parts of the brain will go to work. And emotions come with a lot of physiological changes like sweaty palms, heart fluctuations, shakiness. So if emotions arise from the brain interpreting bodily sensations, then emotions might not exist in the way we experience them here without some sort of physical avatar. I could go into countless biological processes that are a part of the physical earthling experience. So if I were in a soul, light, or consciousness form, that's all great for a while, but could I experience and grow in the same way I could with a physical experience? I'm not going to make a bold claim like you couldn't grow at all without a physical form, but Earth does seem to be a perfect playground to host a bunch of soul-growing experiences that might be harder to have elsewhere. Have you heard of the dimensions? There are many scientific fields that discuss the dimensions beyond the three that we are all most familiar with. So length, width, and height. There are slightly varying scientific thoughts on how many dimensions, but all of these fields show dimensions higher than ours. Countless ancient texts and scriptures also talk about a higher and lower realms. I tend to align with the various mystical beliefs. Mystical beliefs tend to describe hidden planes of existence or other spiritual realms, but even the Bible discusses heaven, hell, and the other world. In Mormonism, there is even different levels of heaven, plus the realm of outer darkness. The Vedas, Hermeticism, the Quran all reference other realms, which is just another word for a dimension. Okay, so what if Earth is a school where advancing through the lessons of Earth lead to higher vibrational states, allowing for a transition into higher dimensional realms? We can call those higher dimensional realms many names, call it heaven or the fifth dimension, but it kind of feels to me like we're supposed to learn something here through experiences. So if reincarnation exists, maybe it's not about punishment or an endless cycle, maybe it's more about refinement. We have the opportunity to return, not because we're forced to, but because the soul craves wisdom it couldn't gain elsewhere. And it gains that wisdom through lived experiences. And maybe higher realms aren't physical or distant places, but rather more of an expansion of awareness. Earth, with all of its challenges and unpredictability, seems to be a place designed for that kind of deep experiences, that we can expand awareness, helping us evolve and grow. So let me know your thoughts. Do you get the sense that you have done this before, or do you happen to remember any details of a possible past life? Let me know in the comments below, and have a good week.